You will surely agree with me if I say, if we know the enemy, it is easier to win. Then let's start by calling the blush with its real name. It is embarrassment, a typical social feeling, strongly connected to the perception we have of ourselves, the way we imagine to be, how we would like to appear in front of others. In other words, to define better what we eliminate, we say that the blush is part of a more complex emotions, those related to self-awareness and to relationships with others. Emotions are considered essential, such as happiness, sadness, fear, anger, disgust, have functions and simple evolutionary purposes. That is, maintaining the emotional links with attachment figures, report the existence of danger, defend themselves from dangerous circumstances. Often, the emotions interfere with rational thinking, sometimes cause deviant situations, and even pathological. But they always have a role on memory, on judgments, on learning, and in many other areas of life. We express emotions without knowing it. The face, for example, called the mirror of the soul, sometimes also knows how to conceal. We must not confuse the embarrassment with the shame. Embarrassment is a typical social emotion which is strongly connected to what we think of ourselves and to the relationships with others. Shame is a reaction to an action that we feel humiliating, determined by the presence of someone. The embarrassment has less intensity of shame. The person did nothing. In reality, there is an audience for which you fear a negative evaluation. I will describe the reasons that most commonly cause embarrassment or blush after I suggest some strategy to keep it under control. The blush is more or less intense, lasting from a few seconds to a few minutes. It is manifested only in a particular social situation. It produces psycho and physiological modifications and pushes to uncontrollable actions. For particular social situation, I mean the mental link with something that gives certainty that own image is in danger. You feel the lack of an appropriate rule of socially accepted conduct. For a moment, you lose self-esteem, and the blush makes you feel awkward and clumsy. The psychophysiological changes producing the characteristic signal of embarrassment, the blush that comes suddenly in the face and neck. It is due to peripheral vasodilatation, that is, the vessels in which the blood moves are dilated. The blood loses speed, the heartbeat slows down, even if it seems increased. The body temperature surges. Muscle tension increases. Breathing becomes irregular. You sweat and your throat is dry. All this is related only to the present and to the place where you are, and is undermine the image. You are assured of not having a proper behavior that is socially accepted. I have to say that there are no situations in which it is easier to blush. A lot depends from your aesthetic values, from the rules that you give to yourself, but especially from the image of yourself that you want to preserve in front of others. I have no doubt that what I say is really so. You want to know why happens? But since I do not know you, I make a list of what normally happens. You can ask clarifications. Number one, you have heard words like, you should not do that, or careful not to do errors, or you must pay attention to what the people think of you. Number two, when someone's attention is on you, suddenly the mind stimulates disastrous sensations that you know well. The sensations are related to the negative judgment about yourself that you read in their mind that makes you feel inadequate. Number three, do you feel powerless against the embarrassment? The inability to react becomes humiliation. Within a few milliseconds, the blood flows copiously in the face. It seems impossible that this will not happen ever again. However, if you carefully follow my advices, apparently, fools I will surprise. First, you must know that, in general, those who tend to overestimate the importance of the opinions of others and underestimate their capacity is a person which has a strong awareness of how would be, has aspirations above average, presents a great capacity for empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand the mood of others because you already tried it personally. Now you learn how to win the blush. We need a photo where you are how you want to be. You are a person who has a strong self-awareness. He knows how he wants to appear in public. In the photo, you show you have many skills. You are a person who know how to win. You know also how to be indifferent. If you do not find this photo in the reality of your past, you need to build it with imagination. As in a dream, build an image in which you are, or an image of how you want to be. Imagine you're seeing with your mind's eye, yourself satisfied. You can close your eyes if you want and see yourself. While you manage your life with confidence and indifference, and in the dream, you do not care what others may think of you. Look, look with your mind's eye at the picture of your dreams. Now you have to read what I will write. It is what you have to do every time the blush arrives. After, we will do it together and you'll learn. Every time you feel the blush come, you will do three things. Number one, every person becomes balloon exploding, doing a great rushing. Number two, you look with your mind's eye, the photo we have built. And number three, you say the phrase that you choose between these. I am the best. They do not exist. I can be indifferent, or any other phrase that you prefer. You can choose now. Now you do with me the three things quickly. Imagine that every person becomes balloon exploding, doing a great rushing. Look with your mind's eye the photo built it. Or say the phrase that you have chosen. The phrases are, I am the best, they do not exist, or I can be indifferent, or any other phrase. Let's repeat together. Imagine that every person becomes balloon exploding, doing a great Russian. Look with your mind's eye the photo built it, or say the phrase you have chosen. This must be done each time the blush arrives. You verify, and if you want, you can write a comment in my email.